Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
While China has whatever actions it has done, they are tactical on the ground, but Chinese intent is strategic. I think while the overall intent of China is to ensure its hegemony over India and make India play the younger brother kind of a role, that is of course the backdrop. But Chinese are very sensitive to threats to Aksai Chin and the other areas that they have taken earlier, which we consider that they are ours, but Chinese consider that they are part and parcel of the greater China. And they are very concerned about it. Even in 62, there were two main reasons. When you see the discussions of the Politburo, which have been, which were available through CIA documents and other researchers who have now pieced the whole thing together. The 1962 Politburo discussions, the two reasons that they cited were, one was, of course, that India wants Tibet to get freedom and it wants to usurp Tibet, in fact, they would say. And second is that through the forward policy, I'm talking of the second part of the forward policy, that is about 1960 onwards, that we are trying to now gain more Chinese territory. And they are already occupied some, and now they're trying to more, and they're threatening more territory. This was the main theme in the Politburo discussions of the Chinese Communist Party. So our infrastructure that was being developed to dollar big only, and then also to Hot Springs and Gogra, and from where we were heading towards Konkala. Now, DBO is the western approach to Aksai Chin, and Konkala is the southern approach. And there's one small thing which most people have, which nobody has brought out so far, and probably even within the army, few may know this, that from the area of Hot Springs and Gogra Post, there are two routes. One route goes to the east, that goes to Konkala, and Konkala on to Lanakla, which is almost the edge of the eastern edge of the Aksai Chin. And there's another route that goes from Hot Springs northwards. This route, because the LAC makes a loop, this route goes to the source of the Galwan River. So what people have not realized is that in 1962, when we established the post in the Galwan River, it was 80 kilometers upstream, and the route that we took was from Hot Springs. So from Hot Springs, we approached the Galwan River source and little below it, and that's where our post was. In fact, we actually went and established our post in 62 behind the Chinese.
That is Samsung Liang as it's.
Yes, that place. So the Chinese are extremely sensitive to Galwan. And because Galwan is another access, the direct access to Aksai Chin is from DBO and from Galwan. Now, when they saw us, that one, we have made a road to DBO, and now we are making a road into the Galwan River Valley, and then we are making a road, we have already reached Hot Springs, the road has reached Hot Springs, and we are developing a road to the north, towards the route taken when we went to the source of the Galwan River. Then what is the end result? That we'll threaten the Galwan River deployment of the Chinese. We'll once again get behind them. And then the whole of Galwan Valley will eventually be taken by India. So this part has not been really highlighted by most people. So this threat to the Galwan River Valley itself, from two directions, Hot Springs as well as from the confluence with the Shok River, and the threat to Aksai Chin, is the main trigger for the Chinese to take these actions. And by taking these actions and putting us in a awkward position, in the sense that by cutting us, even if they are 5 kilometers away, the DBO road, it cannot be used in operations. Because if Chinese just have to get on the heights on top, even in their own side of the LAC, they can observe the road and then destroy the bridges, etc., using their PGMs and what have you. So the road is a goner in any case. And then DBO sector has got inherent weakness. It is the lines of communications are too much. And there's no point saying that we have an airfield there because the airfield is just 15, 20 kilometers from the LAC. It is in the direct artillery range. It will be rendered useless even on the very first day of the operation. It will not be functional anymore. Like what happened to the Chushul airfield, the moment the hot war started there in November. So this, and then Pangong Tso. Why Pangong Tso? Because Pangong Tso is again this whole area that is between the hot springs, the Changchenno River and the Pangong as it turned northwards. It has been usurped by the Chinese. It is linked to the southern approach to the Aksai Strait. From Sirijap, if you go to Kurnak Fort, there's another route that goes up towards Hot Springs area. So this safeguards this part of their area. So this is the reason, the threat we are posing. So if you want now, we have deployed, gone into our deployment. And I have highlighted in one of my articles that our main defenses actually we were going by the heights. And this area, most of these areas were not strongly defended because they are indefensible actually in terms of terrain. But since the Chinese have come, we were talking in terms of large scale operations. So we had to fill the void. So we have also gone forward and put ourselves down there. So I think if a compromise has to be struck, I have given this in my last article, that if we create a series of buffer zones, and we should not worry too much that we have lost this much or this much. I think a series of buffer zones in these sensitive places where neither the Chinese can enter nor we can enter, and through negotiations, we can make it sound reasonable. It should not be that the entire buffer zone is on our side. We can have part of the buffer zone on their side. Make the buffer zone bigger. So with this, we can still diffuse the situation, which is in the interests of, I think, both the countries. Neither India nor China can afford a war at this stage. But it must also end in marking of the LAC, demarcation of the LAC. If that is not done, then Chinese will be back again. And last but not the least, I think we should issue threats or we should make statements about recovering our lost territories, etc., only when we have created the desired capability. If we have not created the desired capability, we should not issue threats, especially to a large neighbor.